And finally, Imperium. Sorry for that, guys. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. We are back for Game 1, just completely restarted from scratch. So no one dead. All the teams are back and alive and back to drop on top of Erangel.
Of course, we see this map playing trajectory is still kind of center, right? So it's
way better.
Similar. It's kind of better. Allows a good few of the teams to drop in military base if they wanted to, but they chose not to the previous game. Of course, Pachinki is still accessible.
And George Paul.
And of course, George Paul, even you can land in Rossark. There's a lot of options. What I am sad about that remake, to be honest, is that circle. That first phase, that circle from before we had the remake, it was very up north. So that would have been interesting. Hopefully we'll have a similar phase 1 circle, but a lot more teams dropping in military base.
A lot more teams. I think they're going to go for the kind of same strat as I said earlier. The South River, all the northern part of it was going to be overtaken by 5 to 6 teams. So they might try and go. Seems like a few teams will go for the same kind of rotation. Katana, once again, military base. No one going to try and negate that away from them. So easy loot for them to get a full squad looted up. A few actually going towards the Western Bridge. We're going to see YMCA, Esports, 4 Angry Kids also going to be going towards that location. So rotations might be made a little bit more complicated if, like earlier, we had a very northern circle. But we'll have to wait and see. And I can't read that. It says, I think, Imperium is very sexy. I think that's what it says in Russian.
Talk about Imperium being very sexy. Look at this phase 1 circle being sexy, Maxman. I think it might be a military island finish. It might. Who knows? Who knows? You'll definitely find out. But it has favoured the teams that have dropped around military island. Of course, even Unity, who are in Nova, Stellar. But then, of course, the teams that have landed like Milton in the coastal areas that might be able to bridge compound Maxon, like the Quick Math, Tornado, Esports, and then, of course, for Angry Kids, going to give them a lot of options.
Yeah, we did see also LXG that did go for Pachinki. But this time, going to be completely uncontested. No Ferrari breach around there. So no one dying early game. So maybe a little bit more action-packed late game. It feels good, man. I do like it. Tornado, Energy, they're going to be pretty lonely in this Milta compound. All the loot for themselves. Milta, in my opinion, can it can house up to 2 teams maximum.
Easy.
It can get all of that. So easily they should get up to tier 2, even maybe full tier 3 loot for themselves, like that shield and also that helmet. Try and be a little bit more of a consistent early game. Katana once again on their own, having the time of their freaking life in Area 51, finding aliens.
Hunting down aliens, which of course is their opponents in these games. As I mentioned previously, I will of course probably be repeating this as we go throughout these games. If you're not too familiar with the PUBG competitive, Katana, formerly Avangar, renamed, same group of players, amazing work they are looking to achieve in these games. And of course, Milky Way, DP Mans, they hold on to Severny.
Severny going to be taken over once again. Very split drops this time around. A little bit more than we had last game. Not 2 teams in one compound. So that's just going to have a very slow early game. And that gives me the time then to tell you guys that are watching at home. If you type in chat right now, !map, you'll have your dedicated map stream at twitch.tv/PEL_esports_map. And over there you can see where your favorite team is going over. But here, a little bit of an early clash will be happening. It was LXG rotating away from Pachinki. A few shots fired with that Scar. Seems like not too much will be connecting. Does put Fuse down to mid HP, but unfortunately that's not going to be too rewarding. Just going to try and slow down that rotation, but nothing much will come out of it.
LXG got lucky because if it was more than one member, 4 Angry Kids, I guarantee you one of them would have gotten knocked down. But I got to give credit to LXG because they've moved into military island. Although this is round 2, and you see the side of Katana talk, looking to get a little bit of action onto LXG.
Oh my god, he's just going to get run over completely. Asperin, what's going on? Flushed away by LXG. Rotation out of the compound of Pachinki back into military base. And it's going to be rewarding as they get a few kills. We said earlier, kills are going to be so important in this game for this phase 3. But though Tok from Katana has the angle with that mini. Nice few shots, just hit 62. Nice. They have to rotate back a little bit. They don't really have a really good point of pressure. No high ground, just in a straight open area on this road. A little bit of a stressful situation to be in. So compound is right behind. So easy rotation for LXG.
Yeah, great job by them. That run up for taking them down. Really good job from them. And of course, as I said, they survived 4 Angry Kids and Katana. That's absolutely amazing work.
I'm seeing Unity. They are going towards the south section of Military Island, and because we have a very southern military island circle right off the bat, they're going for a really safe early game and mid-game stage. They're probably going to stay uncontested until really late stage, unless we have a very northern shift, which seems a little bit unlikely. But I think this is a really, really smart rotation from Unity.
It's smart rotation, but I also don't get why they didn't look to bridge compound or edge a circle compound, you know, to try and get a couple of those kills. I know a lot of these teams look to go into the center circle early on in the game because it's a meta strategy, so to speak. It makes sense. But when it's something like essentially a military island finish and the majority of the team did not land in military island, it gives you that opportunity. But Ferrari Breach looking for one member of 4 angry kids.
4 angry kids, though, they're going to be losing. RonnieKray going to be instantly flushing out. RonnieKray feels bad, man. A little bit of a split rotation. It can be rewarding if you have a scout, but that scout went a little bit too far, and he got flushed out, unfortunately. It's going to be one of the early players there. Ferrari, they're going to see another member of 4 angry kids, and they're just going one by one. This split is not quite working out there. That shift should have been played as a team a little bit like we saw earlier.
From LXG.
Yeah. Same rotation would have been absolutely perfect. And as you said earlier, they were lucky LXG because they only got shut down by 1 member at a time. If you said earlier, like, if there was 4 members, like we saw happen now with 4 angry kids, you're going to get lasered to the ground.
Yeah, and like I had kind of started touching upon, what I love is when these teams move into a circle with 3 vehicles but close together. It means that when they come across a team, unless that team is super communicative and super focused on that one vehicle, there's a really high chance that you're going to survive that, so to speak, engagement. So really good job coming out from LXG. But we are seeing these teams now starting to move into military base.
Katana, they did lose a member earlier, so they're just going to... They did roll back a little bit to avoid the fight with LXG, so I think that was a safe call, trying to avoid the fight as much as possible. They do have Unity that has the high ground, the highest point, actually, in military island. Not military base, but military island. So for the later stage, if you do have shift that goes their way, that's going to be such an easy area to defend for yourself.
One thing we didn't heavily talk about is how much of the water is occupied by this phase 1 circle. I reckon it's a good 50 to 55%.
Like the river and everything.
Between the river and the sea. So yeah, of course, there's a lot less land mass that these teams can get positions on, as Stellar Esports have taken a boat now. Milky Way, Offstring, and Mans, if they can get the shots onto the side of Stellar, we could see the knockdowns coming out.
0 bullets connect. Stella might make it out of range. The coastline is really close. 1 headshot is all you need with that mini, but unfortunately not connecting whatsoever. Shift a little bit late, but I think there's enough room in the circle for them to like set up camp in. Unless it goes in, then Military Island, then the Gatekeepers, they're going to have an absolute blast of a good time. Another rotation from Dust Pilot. They're doing the same kind of rotation we saw earlier from Unity. They might clash against each other, but they might just have to scout a little bit. I think this is a really smart situation, actually, to scout. Send 1 member, maybe a little bit further. If he does get flushed out, you still keep your main force all together to just try and hold a good position in Military Island.
Exactly. You might be thinking, who's Dust Pilots? They are the roster of We Need a Home, who once again played in Phase 2 of Contenders. So they are rebranded, renamed, so to speak, as we see Last Crew Muck getting 1 member, 2 members knocked down on the side of 3D Max.
3D Max, unfortunately, a lot of members in 1 car. They do lose 1 member. It's going to be Furax. He's going to be knocked away. Phantom did get flushed instantly. Furax, I'm pretty sure. See you later. Alligator again flushed out. But no, they're actually going to focus down on Solo in the distance. They have the information. But no, if you can get 1 point, once again, we said it earlier, 1 point is all you need. But Solo going to get laser to the ground once again. Letting 3D Max, there's only 1 member remaining in this early stage. Not looking too good, my friend.
And I kind of slightly feel for them because they had a little bit of the right strategy to push to, not push, but to wait for the blue zone to start moving in towards the circle before kind of going towards military base. But Last Crew, they have they held on to bridge compound far longer than most other teams would. But yeah, Phase 2 circle, lot less land and just as much water.
Big brain. Oh my god.
Wow.
This first game has been like prayed over by Water Sheep himself. Water everywhere. Tornado energy. Have a little bit few snipes there with the SLR, my favorite. Sniperino does not connect anything. Unfortunately, Dust Pilot still going to be just bouncing off. 4-man in 4 cars. Really respect that. M4 not connecting any bullets, unfortunately, from Tornado. Very split and nice front line next to this circle. But they haven't gatekeeped it at all. Like Dust Pilot, they just ran through it.
Yeah, of course. At that point, it's the wisest thing to do, especially when they're moving as a 4-strong side right close to each other. As I talked about, there's highly bigger chance that they're not going to be focused down and they're not going to lose any of their members from being lasered. As you see, one knockdown being taken out. Turbo Banani knocked down by one member of Unity as they turn their attention onto DOS Pilots.
And now it's going downhill, but Unity, they're going to get a little bit stormed over by DOS Pilot. DOS Pilot, they did lose 2 members. Rita, POLLADERUC, they're going to be the last members remaining. They do have a compound, which is pretty rare in this kind of like unlikely circle with so much water and little amount of compounds.
They breached it. They
breached it.
So
they got it.
They deserve it.
It's hippity hoppity. Your compound is now my property.
Bingo.
Bingo.
So InsideGames and Zampeek and seniks working fantastically well together to take down one member of Last Crew who had waited quite a while to move into the military base. As we saw, they gatekeeped, took down 3 members of the 3D Max. Either way.
Big boom. They do have one member in the back there, just in case they did lose. Like, getting 2 boats is always going to be the safe play, but they just got lasered down by Tornado Energy. Trying to connect a few of those SLR shots, but the distance is a little bit going to their disadvantage, so they're going to let that one away. But still, 3 points. Hey, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. And what does make it really interesting when we get to these really crazy circles like a military island, Maximum, is you see a lot of players are being kind of swiped out early on. We're down to 51 players. Still 16 teams, I might add. As you see one member of Milky Way take down the other, knock down, run them over. But yeah, we still have 16 teams, but as I said, we've been taken down to 51 players from 6-4, so we lost 13 already.
I see also on the map, there's one member of 3D Max, like they did lose 3 members earlier. He's just on the mainland on towards Ferry Pier, so he's just trying to avoid that as much as possible, maybe trying to find a boat. But the teams are in a better situation, right? All the teams have the coastline, because it's probably going to shift like still on the coastline because there's so much water. It's a 99.9999% chance they're still going to have coastline next shift. So the teams like YMCA, Unity, RWP, they're going to have such a good position to work with on the next shift. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen there. Look at it. Is it going to be another like 60% water fit like shift? Oh my god!
Well, it's a good 45% water. Still heavily coastline favorable. So 4 Angry Kids, they hold a good spot. As do DOS Pilots, who, as we had seen, had breached that compound, took down 2 members of I believe it was Unity. So they hold on to a nice center circle compound spot. It's relatively high ground, but look at all the action that's now going to be starting to kick off between Katana and Quick Math in particular.
Nah, you're going to have a lot of fights. Still 15 teams in such a small circle, because even though it's still like not a very late game phase, because you have so much water, it like makes the game pace go so much faster. You're still trying to get that last member.
No, 3D Max, Nogi from 3D Max has been taken out. So 3D Max are eliminated. We have 14 teams, 48 players left. This zone is going to start closing in relatively quickly. YMCA being put under a little bit of pressure as 4 Angry Kids looking for Ferrari breach, Max man.
Ferrari breach, probably going to try and breach that compound. They did lose oKKo, so already that compound breach potential is going to be highly reduced. But Washout, he is going to try and get a little bit closer to a point to defend it. You have a few rocks, trees to work with on this high ground, but still, you have so many teams that any rotation can be your deathbed. You do have a few cars still to rotate a little bit faster, but still, cars at this stage in this kind of area is going to be really punishing if you don't rotate efficiently and fast enough.
Exactly, and what's going to be really important is, of course, getting the high ground position, as we all know, but having, of course, those smoke grenades at your fingertips ready to kind of create that wall, create that level of separation between you and your opponent, maybe even get that revive if it's needed. As Jappy from Last Crew has been knocked down on the side of Unity, Quizzy in particular, as Izum is going to try to look to take that. He takes that frag away from Unity.
A point is a point in Pyramid, trying to get it. LXG, one of the teams that rotated really early on. They still do have the high ground. X team did get knocked down. Smoke did come out, and I think he does have the information, Mike, on the positioning on the few of the remaining members. But though LXG, another angle taken over by Tornado Energy. They're shooting them down from everywhere. That's the problem. Even though you have a really good position to defend, you're in the dead center of the circle. All the teams are going to try and fight you to try and take that position away from you as fast as possible.
That's true, but we are also seeing a lot of battles happening in the edge of the circle, in particular as we are looking at HeartShift. However, Weebop are getting compound breach from the side of Milky Way, but not before getting taken out from 2 members of WeWop outside that compound.
WeWop, a really good strat there. They did have a 2-2 split. I think that nobody was really expecting on the side of Milky Way that you had 2 of the members that were out of the compound and still part of the same team. And I think that really worked out for them on the coastline. But here it is, Milky Way. Man, just turn it around, get himself a nice knock. But still, one-man army. Storming a compound on your own is not going to be an easy task, especially when there are so many teams around you ready to dive on any opportunity to take it away from you.
That's true, Maxwell, but if you notice from the circles, we're going to see this next shift, which has gone heavily into the coastal line, although that compound that WeWop do hold on to is inside the circle. Lasker are actually helping Milky Way out in some way by firing shots over on WeWop in that distance. Now, one thing is, they'll know that that compound is occupied. Will they look to go around the coastline, even into the water, and head up onto the circle from the west side, or will they go up northwards? If they go up northwards, they're going to be put under pressure from the likes of Tornado, Energy, and Unity.
This game is getting a little bit slow. I think that was a grenade that was chucked over by guess who. Does connect down to about 1/4 HP, so that's pretty good. Another grenade. They're really trying to force him out, and maybe even try and storm it, because when you do throw a grenade, your enemies become dead for a few seconds. But here it is, a Grenada will connect on top of Man's. Milky Way out in 14th position.
There's not really much he could do, especially like as we talk about the grenade meta being so strong. You hold on to 3, 4, even 5 of them in your arsenal, ready to throw out when it's needed, when you're the only one alive, and you had a feeling you were being pinched from a lot of different angles. You just had really nowhere to go. Talk about nowhere to go. LXG and HeartShift looking to take each other out.
Yeah, Fuse connects a few bullets on top of Nihanas. Shot, heart rotates. They can have a HeartShift. Are going to try and maybe try and get a little bit more center position to work with here. Nice live action.
Nice shots
coming on through, and they're having multiple angles. Mike's also going to take a few shots, instantly flushed out of the game, and that's going to be Heart out of the game in 13th position, and now it's going to go faster and faster because once again you have a very small amount of land to work with.
You do. Now InsideGames did kind of help. Out there and taken down HeartShift, but either way, this action comes out. Zampeek does get knocked down by Odstrelovac.
InsideGames actually doing a really split aggression on top of LXG. I think that's a really smart way, and actually that works out completely as LXG gets taken out in 12th position. But though, Ferrari breached, they're around the corner, ready to try and 3-man party this skirmish.
Yeah, InsideGames are not out of the woods just yet. As you talked about, Ferrari breach looking to kind of go in and breach that area and take down InsideGames. All the while, Quick Math trying to make their way into circle, going up against Tornado Energy, who hold on to the edge. Really nice positional play coming out from Tornado Energy.
Katana still, they dropped to Military Island, and they're still one of the last teams remaining on the very eastern side of the circle. A few shots coming through from the XLR of Tornado Energy. Compot has a high position to work with. It could work out for him, and yeah, it has like a really good way to gatekeep the circle because the teams, they're gonna have to make it through, and so much utility was forced out that they might not have any more to actually get into the circle.
Exactly. So we did see Quick Math getting taken out there. They went out in 11th place, 10 teams alive, 30 players. That's on average 3 players per team. Maximum Katana trying to look for that revive, all the while Ferrari breach having to dance around those bullets, but Pixlix does take down EduCoz.
InsideGames, they play split, but still with a lot of synergy. I'm really enjoying how they pull in the off Imperium this time around. Ferrari breach to actually get a nice flush on top of Zampeek from InsideGames, and they're fighting back, clapping instantly over to InsideGames. EduCoz trying to get that smoke up on top of him, trying to get Reds back up, but unfortunately he's in sight of seniks and he's going to get flushed away.
It's always hard when you're trying to go uphill to get those kind of shots off and trying to get those angles. Yes, you might have a bit of a rock here, a bit of a rock there, but when you're facing uphill, it's so much harder because you have less vision around you, and we've seen that kind of go against Ferrari breach as Pixlix once again picking up kill by kill.
One team that's so good on this circle though, YMCA Esports. They are in the perfect location. They have the coastline. They're sure they're going to get attacked from behind, and here it is. Ferrari breach looking for the engagement. One more remaining member on the sub InsideGames. He's still clapping right back. Pixel not scared to fight despite the number going for the opposite side. Washout did take a few shots. Could reach him back up, but it's a little bit harsh.
The good thing for Pixel, because he's closer to the circle than that final member Ferrari breach Washout. So he can kind of gatekeep. He can just hold on to the edge. Obviously, once he's not in a position where he's getting potentially taken out by Unity or 4 angry kids. I'm talking about 4 angry kids. They hold on to a compound and being fairly quiet, but they don't need to do anything right now.
Tornado still 4 members. One of the only teams that's still 4 members at this stage of the game. That's going to be huge when they're going to fight against the likes of YMCA Esports. Here it is. Going to see YMCA Tornado, the only 2 teams with 4 members each. Then down to 3 for Angry Kids, Unity, Rewop. And then you have just some teams that are going to try and snake it into the positioning. But once said, positioning is not that important. You want kills. You want juicy kills right now.
But when the players know that there's 10 teams alive and you're the final member, you're like, okay, I'm only 2 positions away from at least grabbing some points from a team from a placement point of view outside of what kills they have. Talk about kills they have. Pixelix, InsideGames, they have 9 kills in total. Make that 10 as they take down Ferrari. Breach 9 teams, left 21 players, Maxon.
Yeah, they only got 1 more member remaining on their side, so a little bit of a maybe harsher game. He is on the edge of the circle. He doesn't have anyone around him, so he should be fine for the time being. But Rewop, they hold the compound since early, and finally they're going to try and get to the circle. But one team that's ready to take them down is going to be YMCA and DOS Pilot. They're both applying so much pressure on all the teams trying to get in circle. And look at 4 Angry Kids. They got the time of their life. They're in the compound, chilling.
The team that kind of has the in my opinion, kind of the worst position is Unity, because not only do they have to get in circle, but they actually have to potentially cross that road to get into kind of the biggest portion of that circle, depending on how the next phase does pop out.
Rewop, they're going to have to try and shift away.
Yeah.
Because they kept the compound for a little bit too long, I think, so they're going to have to try and work it out. Tornado. They were at 4 members earlier.
I know.
And Thanos snap. Oh, not even half. That's 3/4 gone right there. So not really a true Thanos snap, but still 1 member remaining on their side. Katana also same for InsideGames. Now it's going to be a snake endgame for them. And YMCA, as I said earlier, they got just the coastline, the edge of the circle, and they can just apply so much pressure because they have this little bit of a hill going their way, and they can easily use that to dip to res back up if they want to. But here it is, Unity on Rewop. Rewop out in now 8th position. 7 teams remaining.
Yeah, and YMCA, the only team with a full squad up. Every other team has 3 players or less. Still 3 teams with 1 player left. Like that, Unity taking down a final member of Tornado Energy. Compot gets taken out. We're down to 14 players, 6 teams. You got to say, 4 Angry Kids. The compound they're in is still inside the circle.
They got such a good position to shift away completely from YMCA, and they're going to try and make it over there at some point. Unity, you said earlier, their positioning is going to be a little bit harsh because they have to also cross that road. And there's a, like, DOS Pilot, they're still around the corner, you can see a few shots come in their way. There's a ring going to take that good old Red Bull, trying to res back up.
And that one final member of Katana, yeah.
He hasn't moved, and I think he's going to try and avoid the fight because you have 3 members, but why not? They want points, there you go. Going to go on Quiz because get 1 knock. Maybe she'll flushed it because he wants points once again, as I just mentioned. Oh my god, that turnaround from Katana Maxizor. I was not expecting that.
Not only does that give him a higher level of freedom to at least to attempt to get into the circle, it's adding kill points. That's 2 kills and a placement point because taking down Unity in the process. 5 teams, 11 players left. 4 Angry Kids are feeling the heat from YMCA. YMCA, look at the kickoff. Phase 3 contenders with a strong finish.
Started off with a bang. They got a really nice front line push. The smokes, I think they still do have because they didn't have to rotate for the last few minutes. Does connect 1 shot with that SLR. I think there's not really a use to shoot down those cars. No one's going to use that at this stage. That seems extremely unlikely. But yeah, look at that Katana. Max is always still up, running him through. Pixel from InsideGames going to try and get maybe in circle, trying to avoid the fight because the big fight you're looking at right now is 4 Angry Kids, DOS Pilot and YMCA Esports does have actually the man advantage, but will it be enough when you do not have the compound? We'll just have to wait for the next few minutes.
Well, that's why they look to fire those and pop those shots off, even at something like a car, right? Because what that does is, on one hand, it kind of exposes your position, but it pushes your opponent back. It means that they have bigger fear of peaking where they are. Talk about peaking where they are. YMCA Turbo Banani has taken down InsideGames, so we are down to 4 teams.
Stop it, he's dead already. Overkill right there, but yeah, it's only 4 more teams remaining. 4 Asian Kids. Katana, YMCA, and also 1 sneaky little DOS Pilots there. Was now only 2 pilots, so their name is relevant this time, and they still have the compound. is in the circle. So the next shift is going to dictate the entire pace. And it does go to the compound, actually, of DOS Pilot. So now, instead of being 4 Asian kids dictating the game, it's going to be DOS Pilot.
Not only compound, but it's a really nice position, kind of mid to high ground. There's flat area around them that they can kind of have a peek of the teams that are looking to move into the circle, most prominently YMCA, because 4 angry kids, they can kind of wait, right? Because they have kind of the biggest gap of from the blue zone to the circle, as we do see the overview. So, and they can kind of move out a little bit, but they have to be careful.
They got to rotate right now. They do not have a lot of time up their sleeve. They're going to do that. They have a little bit of a terrain going to their advantage. So they can't really get peeked that easily by YMCA. But if they do have that information, 4 angry kids are going to be in a really, really bad situation to try and ease their way out of it. Katana, still, Max is always still alive. And we saw him earlier just flush out 3 members, even though he didn't do it on his own, but he did have a lot of impact in that fight. So he can try and get involved once again. There it is, YMCA. They're going to try and get a few shots on DOS. If you do get DOS Pilot out of the way, just rotate in that compound and hold it as a 4-man team. YMCA, that's definitely what they're going to try and aim for. But unfortunately, shooting from the compound there, even if you do get a knock, you might not have the time to get there because all the other teams are going to try and stop that rotation from happening.
Exactly. YMCA, they have 5 kills for themselves so far in this game. Holding on to at least a top 4 position from placement point of view will really help them from point of view. As I say, kickstart their run in phase 3 of Contenders, as Zampeek is looking for 1 member, 4 angry kids out in the open. Not even kind of crouched down until he started getting fired at, but that SLR really not connecting.
One of these 2 teams is not going to make it to DOS Pilot right now. But 4 angry kids are going to have to try and force that rotation. At some point, if there's some smokes, now is the time to use it. DOS Pilot still in the distance. Really good mid-range to long-range weaponry. Can really be super efficient to shut down these breaches. Here it is. They get the information on Katana.
No.
Scouted out by Nixtys. Katana out in 4th position, which is absolutely awesome. Knowing that they lost so many members early on, they get 4th position. Maxizor
did a fantastic job. Took down 2 members of Unity all by himself from behind, picked them off one by one, helped them from a team positional point of view. Really good job for them, but we are down to 3 teams, 9 players live, average of 3 players per team, as Nixtys are looking to keep the pressure onto YMCA, giving DOS Pilots every single chance to kind of make their way forward and even potentially kind of third party if they need to do so. Kajudi has been taken out, YMCA Sakura knocked down. That is YMCA essentially down to 1 player. Let's see if Turbo Banani can get that revive off.
He got res back up, so he should be just fine. They're going to actually out of the compound. I don't know why they're really going for that. It is still in circle, so they can try and keep it as long as possible. Well, unless they want to try and get out early so they don't be too predictable. They can be a strat like that and try and hide their position.
You kind of just want to hold the angles a bit. And if you're outside of the compound, it can just be a little bit more surprising. And I do like what they're kind of doing. They're down to 2 players, so it's 3v2v2 at this stage of the game. 4 angry kids. Man, looking strong.
It is with the SLR once again in the open, not really using that smoke to its full potential. Polar almost finding an angle, but down to now mid-HP rotation with a car at this stage of the game. I think that's a big mistake from DOS Pilot. And they will lose the driver. That was very predictable, I have to say.
And you correctly point out that's actually 3 members of YMCA still up, although 1 member has been knocked down by Northrest. That is Zampeek. It's 4 angry kids looking to keep on going strong inside this circle.
Yeah, YMCA, they really tried, but it seemed like 4 angry kids are coming out on top at the end of the day. They did get actually 2 flushes down. Sakura and Turbo Banani going to be remaining.
DOS Pilots stole 1 of those kills, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, they stole it?
Yes,
they that's stole good for them. Perfect, you want to try and get those kill points. The edge of the circle going to be taken over by Sakura. Still, 1 huge powerhouse is going to be 4 angry kids. But he does have an angle with that SLR. And we all know that the SLR, just a few bullets remaining, can be enough to shut down. So you could turn it around a little bit like earlier with Katana. But unfortunately, gets scouted out. YMCA, unfortunately, they're having such a good mid-game. Circle shift was not enough, and now it's going to be DOS Pilot versus 4 angry kids.
Final circle as well, Max, and this is it. It's all going to end once this map really starts, once this kind of blue zone starts closing in. You got to say that 4 Angry Kids, they're 3 members up, so 3v2 situation. Max and DOS pilots do have the edge of the compound. Smokes are starting to be thrown out because you want to create that wall as much as possible to protect yourself, but of course, you don't want to close yourself off from that smoke that you can't get those shots off if neither 4 Angry Kids looking to drive forward.
He has to get a little bit closer to the center. Like, they have the information for Angry Kids. They're going to try and find the angle, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Winner, chicken dinner off game 1 of this phase 3 of PEL Contenders. Going over to 4 Angry Kids. Absolutely awesome rotations. They rotated early. They got into Military Island, got a compound that was so rewarding and allowed them to dictate the game, and that's why they got it. Congratulations. And also the late game, why they got it, they saw the number of people still alive on that game. They saw it's only 1 member. They did a 3-man split to apply more pressure and like multiple angles of fire. And just got the win. Easy.
And you got to think that, like, YMCA were inside circle, DOS pilots were inside circle. 4 Angry Kids weren't. And as a 3-man team, they had to move into circle, and they did it without really being contested. They did have a little bit of help that kind of YMCA were overall focusing on DOS pilots, so they kind of had a little bit of a safety net from that point of view. But you can't deny the fact that they took control of this game. They really kind of pushed on forward, especially in those final couple of circles. And they kept relatively quiet for the whole of that game and then just started really kick off.
As we go over the highlights again, see, this was when you had a really huge mayhem in the early stage because all the teams had to rotate, like, oh, this is not going good. We have to get to Military Island as fast as we possibly can. And that was when Unity had a pretty nice engage on DOS Pilot, but unfortunately, they didn't really keep that compound under control. That was when, that was a really interesting move. That's when, unfortunately, we had a Stella getting flushed out. They did lose an extra member later on, trying to play the water move. Not very rewarding with those boats. Then the last member of 3D Max trying to snake it out, unfortunately, also not working out at all. The best way, I think, is not to not stay in the boats because you're very predictable, is to just get the closest possible to the coastline, stay at the very bottom of the rocks, and you can't get scouted out almost.
Yeah, like YMCA put on a great showing from getting into the circle and holding that coastline very early on, and we saw them starting to really kick off from a kill feed point of view, as well as InsideGames. Like, as a team, they picked up, I believe, 9 kills before they got taken out. So great kill point of view. Great kill points, great placement points overall. Yeah, of course, it would have been nicer to see them, let's say, in top 4, top 3, but still a fantastic performance. All the while, Pixix, then we saw taken out. Yeah, over 10 kills they got as a team.
Once again, kills are all you're looking for. Rewop, unfortunately, we said it earlier, they stayed in the compound way too long and they got punished super, super hard to the point where they actually just got flushed out like pretty early in that late game stage. And also, one team that did get a lot of points, that's Unity, despite getting flushed out 1v3 against Katana and also DOS Pilot in the distance. That was a little bit unfortunate rotation. You said it earlier, they had to go through that road, and going through the road in the late game is so punishing, and that's why we did see, unfortunately, Unity going out pretty fast there. And that was 4 Angry Kids doing a rotation. I said earlier, they got the terrain going their way so they can really just peek up and down and really have a nice line of defense. And that allowed them to really take over the fight with YMCA. You can see there YMCA trying to make the most out of this fight. At the end, Pilot did get the scout, a few nice shots. Where's that SLR? SLR, my favorite weapon in the game right now.
One thing I noticed with 4 Angry Kids there was he got the knockdown onto YMCA and instantly pushed back into the smoke, so he wasn't putting himself under pressure. But we are seeing the placement points, the point standings from this game 1. It's only game 1 in phase 3 of Contenders, but we see 3 teams getting 0 points: Stellar, 3D Max, and HeartShift.
Yeah, we saw 3D Max and Stellar. They're the 2 teams that tried to play the water boat move. Not very rewarding, unfortunately. You want to try and use the boats for rotations, not as a consistent way of rotating. Not consistent, like, it's not a compound. It's not something like that. So please leave the boats as fast as you possibly can. But the top section of the standings, look at those points. 14 total points for 4 Angry Kids with those 10 points of placements, 4 kill points, but InsideGames.
I told you, that's the thing.
10.
Kills are just so important. InsideGames, they just hold on with that roster. Odstrelovac really pushing on, driving through with the rest of his team, really kind of helping out right now. But we look at the kill feed. Tizrin from Unity getting 5 kills all by himself.
I mean, Unity, they've been always involved until they died. They were always involved in fights from the start until the very, very end of their lives. So not really surprised to see Unity up there. Same for YMCA, just gatekeeping a big section of the map, trying to avoid rotation from actually happening. And let's go over to the damage leaders. Mailman, 651. Not like insane numbers, but still on a personal level, that's great.
There's no standout. It's all spread out evenly, kind of quite nicely. 6, 5, 4, 3. It's all nicely evened out. All of the players looking to just do their work for each team, getting out as much damage as they could in the time. As I said, nobody really stood out.
Well, there you have it for game 1 of this phase 3 of the PEL Contenders.
Yep.
Game 1 was on Erangel. We're going to have another game on Erangel in just a few minutes. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in just a few short minutes.